Welcome to Recovery Guy Podcast. Welcome.
Recovery is a lifelong process.
Hello. My name is Robert. I am the Recovery Guy. Happy Thursday and welcome to the Checkup. I am so glad you're here. I am involved in an amazing week, and I hope you are too. I've had a very good day today, and I'm inspired because I am sitting down and talking to you. And you, the listener, and the participant are everything to the mission of Recovery Guy. And we are on a recovery mission. The commitment that Juan and John and I have is so great. I started out today with an amazing conversation with a friend of mine, Kristen, who is doing so many wonderful things in recovery and development. It's encouraging to share with people like you who are like me, because we come from a place where we didn't really fit anywhere. And that was so much of the source of our pain. And it became necessary for us to seek relief. As Father Martin would say, it's a natural human response for us to seek relief from that which is uncomfortable. Well, guess what? I'm not uncomfortable anymore. And I hope you aren't as well. And we are growing more comfortable with each other and our environment every day, that we can have more impact and more power and more presence in the lives of those that are entrusted to us. What's really cool, before I started recording this podcast, I checked on Podbean and I realized that we were at 2,129 downloads of our episode. I'm blown away. JJ and I, we couldn't see that in the beginning. We couldn't see how positive you would respond. And you have. And for that, we are grateful. You know, today, as we celebrate recovery, we come in all shapes and all sizes and all levels and all levels of quantity and quality that we get together and we share. You know, as of today, I have been in recovery, clean and sober, and breaking away from other behaviors for 12,276 days. 12,276 days in a row, and that blows my mind. And as I posted that on Instagram today, another person came back and said, hey, guess what? I have 25 days. And I was so impressed, so encouraged that they were encouraged by 25 days, because so many of us are a people that we would swear off a negative behavior at 8 a.m. or when we got up. We're not going to do this. We're going to have a better day. We're going to accomplish this. We're going to stay away from this. We're going to stay away from that. And by noon, we were defeated, if we made it that long. So the fact that this person who, like me, couldn't make it until noon is able to put together 25 days in a row, that, my friend, is a miracle, and I want to be part of it. Today's podcast on the Checkup is Finding Our Way. How are you at finding your way, which is our way, because our paths intersect along the route, and it might be implemented by me, but it's our way of recovery. It's a path that we agree on in general, but we as individuals live out the specifics. You know, I want to refer and share a couple things from one of the greatest mentors that I've ever become a part of. And although I've never met him personally, he has now passed away. I am a student of his, and I sat under his leadership and his teaching and the ideas of his training since 1993. His name was Stephen Covey, and Stephen was a prolific writer and thinker, and he had a way of articulating ideas and allowing what I gained from the inside out approach to recovery. Because of his inside out approach to quality and change, I adopted it for recovery. Dr. Covey was born in 1932 and he died sadly in 2012, but he has left behind a library and a legacy of understanding. Matter of fact, if you go to my website, recoveryguy.org, and you look at the 4 L's, to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy, that was Dr. Covey. And I took those 4 L's and I made them applicable to the 12 steps of recovery. But some amazing thoughts that I want to share with you, and then I want to break down some bulleted points for you to dissect and see if they work for you as you find our way, which is, of course, your way. So let's get into this. It says here, and these are some of the quotes from Stephen, we are the creative force of our life. And through our own decisions, rather than our conditions, if we carefully learn to do certain things, we can accomplish those goals. I love that. The creative force. We are the creative force of our life. Not something outside of us, not some circumstance, situation, person, what have you. We, from the inside out, we, in the Creator that made us who we are the creative force of our life. And through our own decisions, what we decide to do, how we decide to live our life on the inside rather than the external conditions, if we are carefully learn to do those things, we can accomplish those goals. And finding our way is a goal, isn't it? Yes, it is. Another thing that Dr. Covey said was synergy is what happens when 1 + 1 = 10 or 100 or even 1,000. It's the profound result when 2 or more respectful human beings determine to go beyond their preconceived ideas to meet a great challenge. Guess what? Here at Recovery Guy Podcast, recoveryguy.org, we are 2 or more respectful human beings determined to go beyond their preconceived ideas to meet a great challenge, which is finding our way. We are in agreement, aren't we? We are respectful human beings who respect each other. And even though we may be on a different path, we respect the path that we are each on because we know at the end of the day, our goal, our desire is to be the same. As I was talking to my friend Shanice last night, the whole goal is to go from broken to whole, to take that piece that's missing from our heart and reinsert it in its respective place that we can become whole, that we don't have to live a fragmented life. So synergy is what happens in a scientific lab. It's where that word comes from, where when 2 or more elements are put together, it creates even a third element altogether different with its own components. And the same thing here. So when you and I get together, we exponentially have the ability to create a profound result. Pretty cool way of putting it that Mr. Covey did. Here's another thing that Stephen said. making a break with the past. I was telling Shanice again last night that one of the things that Covey said was that every major scientific breakthrough came as a result of a break with. So I have to break with or from the old ways that were getting me off my path so I could have a major breakthrough. So making a break with the past, Stephen says it's about living and working in ways that will enrich your life and the lives of those around you. Isn't that wonderful? Enrich our lives and the lives of those around us. You know, the lives that were around us, we were taking from. We were making them less than. We were breaking down the family, the positive environment. We were breaking that down through our negative life. Now we're living and working in ways that will enrich our life and the lives of those around us. Stephen goes on to say it's an exploration into the natural laws that govern all our actions and how you can align yourself with those laws that you can then bring to true power, energy, compassion, and integrity into your life. And again, the lives of those around you. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't you like to find your way that along that way, we can be in alignment with natural laws, with science, with creation, that there is no hypocrisy in our life between God's creation outside of us and the creation we are on the inside, that we can bring true power, energy, compassion, integrity into our life and the lives of those around you. So what are some of the things that we can do to help ensure this as we close out this year and begin to set a path for next year? Because every day connects, every day touches. The only thing that really separates yesterday from today and today from tomorrow is a calendar. Because everything connects, everything touches. I often joke, that's why, even though it was in 1970, I can still tell you the record that I put in Jessica's locker when she broke up with me because I felt so bad. It still connects with me. It still resonates with me. It still touches me. So here is a way to find our way. So take some notes here, take some mental notes, come back and listen as you have opportunity. But let's go through these things and let's see if there are a way for you to align yourself that you can have that true power, energy, compassion, and integrity. So understand that it doesn't matter where we start. It matters that we start. Again, it doesn't matter where we start. It matters that we start. That is one of the biggest challenges with complacency. We have to be in a perfect place and a perfect time, and we wait and we wait and we wait and we put it off, we put it off, we put it off because it either doesn't feel right or we don't know how to start. Well, it doesn't matter. Because all that matters is that we start. We have to start somewhere. And starting is more important than where we start. It matters that we start. It also doesn't matter where we start. it really matters where we end up. So it's that think first with the end in mind is what Dr. Covey also said. Kind of like reverse engineering. I can only do things one day at a time because I see on a line where God, as I understand God, sees as an overview. I don't see all the things as they unfold. I just see them right directly in front of me. But I do have a place that I want to be. I wanted to recover. I wanted to become well. I wanted to have a sense of being and a sense of family and a sense of conformity and a sense of peace and a sense of comfort that I hadn't had. I just knew that's where I wanted to end up. And so one day at a time, one step at a time, one prayer at a time, one action at a time, I began starting, knowing that I had to start somewhere. So it really didn't matter where I started as long as I started. What mattered is where I was going to end up. Where was I going to end up at the end of the day? Because where I ended up at the end of the day, it would pretty much determine where I would end up at the end of the next day and the week and then the month and then the year. And over 33 years, I've been doing this over and over again. And what's really cool is that, a definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, guess what? I do things over and over again and I expect the same result. That's sanity. I expect the same because I know what I'm putting in, and it's by design. I am following a path. I'm finding my way that others have walked, so I know it's a safe and a sure path. And speaking of which, this is about the journey. This is not about the destination where I desire to end up. Now, of course, where I desire to end up is on the successful end of another day. So I start my day and I work through knowing that today is a journey. And I know that if I'm fortunate enough, my day will end and I will be on the successful end of that day. Now, speaking of success is a relative term usually defined by the person experiencing their day. And I love that because the success of my day is not measured by what you do. The success of my day is measured by my standard and my own experience and my understanding of success. Because success to you could be different than my version of success because we're in different places. Oftentimes we have different resources. We have different pressures. But we both can be successful. The person who was sober 25 days today is going to define success differently than me. It'll still be success, but it's relative to their particular experience, position, and abilities in life. I would hope that my success in terms of experientially will be elevated because I've been around, in this case, over 12,251 days more than this other person. So my relative term or my understanding of success better be a little bit more than theirs, although we're going to have some very similar components to it. I remember early on in recovery where if I could just go a day without drinking and using, that would have been great success. But now it's so much more because I believe in recovery. I believe in becoming that new man. The drink problem, the using problem, that's already been solved for me. I've overcome that. That's no longer an issue. I'm about maintaining this position of recovery and sobriety that I've been given. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not susceptible to relapse, because we all are. As it says in the big book, what we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual conditioning. So I make sure that my success is based around the depth of my spiritual conditioning. And that's what I would call a successful day. Another point is, where I end up today will set the stage for where I start tomorrow. My good friend Troy talks about the cycle of a day. He says we win the morning, we then win the day, and then we win the night. And I love it that he's just got an arrow pointing to each one, because it's a circular pattern that is like the infinity sign. It's always moving. It's never stopping. You know, the morning touches the afternoon. The afternoon touches the evening or the night. And the night touches the morning. It's all on a continuum. There is no real break. So as I start my day in finding my way, as I go through my day, understanding the degrees of success that I want to have as I experience my day, I know where I want to end up today. And if I end up today with a degree of success, it helps me determine the degree or where I'm going to start tomorrow. Am I starting tomorrow with the momentum of success that I ended today with? Or do I have to start a brand new day with a different direction because I wasn't successful today? Where I start tomorrow will help determine where I end up tomorrow, and so on, and so on, and so on. Again, everything touches moving forward. There's no break in the day other than what it says on the calendar. That's why that poem, that Sanskrit poem by Kalidasa, is so critical and so vital. Look to this day in all its verities. Fantastic poem. If you've never read Look to This Day by Kalidasa, it is a Sanskrit poem. Look at it, download it. If you can print a picture of it and keep it in front of you, it is so instructional and helpful in understanding the value of today and how it makes yesterday such a great thing to look back on, and tomorrow such a wonderful thing to look forward to. And finally, never lose sight of where we are at. Where I'm at in the moment. Where I'm at in this space or in this place of my mind, of my body, of my emotion, and of my spirit. The four dimensions that Dr. Covey would talk about needing to be in alignment. Never lose sight of where I'm at in those quadrants, as it were, in those dimensions of living, that I can be in alignment, that I'm not looking over here instead of looking over there, that everything is looking in the same direction at the same time, so I can get this wonderful panoramic, uninterrupted, unseparated view of my life from the inside out. Those are things that will help me find my way, and we can find our way together. Remember, it doesn't matter where we start. It just matters that we start. And it doesn't matter as much where we start. It's really where we're going to end up. And for some of us, it's just at the end of a successful day. It's not about the journey as much as I hope it to be. I don't want a distraction. I want it to be about you and me going down this path, because it's not about my journey. It's about our journey, because I'm not alone in this. We are in this together. Remember, success is a relative term defined by the person experiencing their day. Where I end up will set the stage for where I'll start tomorrow. Where I start tomorrow will help determine where I end up tomorrow. And again, never lose sight of where we are at. Because if I lose sight of where I'm at, I might lose sight of where I'm going. And that, my friend, could be disastrous. And I've come too far to have a disaster. I just want joy. All the elements of life as recovery could bring it. And I hope that's what you want as well. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for wanting to find our way that we can share that faith, that hope, that trust, that success, sometimes even that heartache. But let's share. Thank you for going to recoveryguy.org and looking at my videos and seeing what we're able to do as an instrument of your recovery. Thank you for joining this recovery movement. Thank you for sharing, for subscribing, for commenting on the podcast. It all means so much to us. And thank you for caring about me as I care about you. My name is Robert. I am the Recovery Guy. Have a great day.
I was trying to do everything